Brought to you by Harvey Norman. There's a store near you.
Put Johnson under the gun, but he did well to Long. Rode out of it. Lappin's been busy early. Camperelli on the burst. Arches his back. Steady. 49 metres out. Wonderful stuff. Brilliant. It was a great goal. Probably the highlight for the Blues in the opening term. And at quarter time, Essendon by 1 point only over Carlton at 3-3 to 3-2. And they kicked those 3 goals in a 4-minute burst. Matthew Lloyd continues to excel, an opening quarter goal tonight, and turns 23 next week. Almost feel as if we're seeing him physically just about at his peak at the moment.
Well, this mark here, Bruce, have a look at that. Eyes on the ball. He didn't get a ride on anyone. It was just all athleticism and courage, because Hickmott was coming back hard and his eyes just didn't waver off the ball.
There goes Wayne Britton. Let's join Johnny Worsfold with the Big Dipper.
Good on you, Bruce. Well, John, you've certainly got a contest.
Yeah, our work rate's been pretty high by the boys so far, so we're happy to be, even at quarter time and increase our work rate from here.
We noticed man on man at the start. Terrific footy by the lads.
Well, that's what football's all about. We've just said to them, you've got a man each, just take them on and have a real go at it.
Now, what are we going to do with Lance Whitton tonight? What's the idea with him tonight?
Lance, we just want him to work hard and create a bit for us, and, he's keen for a real big night.
Good on you, mate.
Thanks, John.
There's one guy who'd love to be out there. You just telling his eyes.
I tell you, he nearly got a game, I think, Dipper. He just wasn't on the list. They were running out. Look at Kevin Sheedy he was pretty disappointed, I think, at quarter time. He certainly was pointing the finger at more than one player, talking to Barnard there, but we're off and running, aren't we? Can the Blues maintain that work rate that John Worsfold talked to the Dipper about? Michael Mansfield in his 200th game. Oh, Barnes. Gee, a bit stiff Porter. I think he will get it in the end. Good umpiring from the third umpire.
I was more estranged by the fact that he actually ran under the ball there and completely misjudged it.
Bit of length on the Porter kick to fall forward. At the back, Fletcher belts it back. Ramanauskas, they may have to concede off the ground. Henneman stopped it in its tracks. Not sure whose boot it came off. It looked like Essendon players so ball up.
Mark Harvey's the defensive coach for Essendon. He spent a lot of time just before the siren came to recommence the game with the Essendon midfield. So expect a bit of an accent on their midfielders to get back and support in defence for the first few minutes here.
Will Fletcher belt it through? I think they do. It hits the post and scores a level for the third time tonight. We had 4 lead changes in this low-scoring game in the opening term.
Joe Mercedes wasn't in at that centre bounce to start this second quarter. I think that's the first time this year Joe hasn't been in at a centre bounce. He went to the half-forward flank and Brett Ratton went with him.
See what's in front of Fletcher. Dangerous kick, except they had all the numbers and there wasn't a flyer in the end.
Good shield provided by Michael Long, and now he's nicked out the back door.
Is Henneman's kick going to get to him? Rice makes the contest. McVeigh to half forward, Hurd front spot, Mercury at the back. Oh, Hume, McKay to Ratton, good tackle Mercedes. Blumfield just has to search. Hume was in there hassling. The Blues are going all right. Lappin to Hume. Got him. Well done, Mark Johnson. Hume had to change direction, I think, but Mark Johnson, like the Terriers, refused to give up on him. Barnard's got it at centre wing. Just feel like the first goal here is pretty important. Barnard, almost up to 50, decides to unload with a floater that could go all the way. Lloyd got his hand there. It was going to go all the way.
It was. He didn't quite middle the kick. It still went 55 metres. He's playing on a wing, Paul Barnard, and he just is able to read the play and get in space so easily.
They're waiting for Camperelli here. Now Massey says to Camperelli, because Manton quickly ran off and now Camperelli comes up.
This can make it hard on Camperelli because he's the designated kicker in, and sometimes he has to run from the centre square to get down there, so he's got to cover 80 metres just to get the footy to kick it in. Just shows they haven't got enough confidence in their other defenders to be able to spot a ball.
He also has to run out and pick up his direct opponent if the ball gets to the wing and gets turned around.
Well, we've seen a couple of terrific kicks from him, so the effort seems worthwhile. That was another one. Rice got it from Beaumont. Again to Colpert. Back to Rice. It's almost as if Carlton are so determined not to turn the ball over, aren't they?
Yeah, possession footy. Here they go again.
Otten. Oh, Mansfield, not quite. Johnson. Oh, that's a throw, Jason Johnson. Lappin, terrific tackle at the back from Wellman. Important here. Well played. Back to Lappin. Still with Lappin. Handball to Houghton. Houghton, this is close. It's hooking and hooking and hooking. It's a behind. Scores level again. Some good work in close by the Blues.
Well, they are working hard in their forward line, and Culpert is playing as a half-forward flanker on Sean Wellman. Wellman's the running defender. Wellman's only had 3 possessions at this stage of the game, so Culpert's doing his job.
We've sent Dipper down to the pocket to keep a good eye on Lloyd and Manton, to watch that clash up close. It could be the key result tonight, how many goals Lloyd ends up getting. And if Manton can hold firm. Massey.
He's done well there, the boy. A very good play. Recognised the tackle was coming and just offloaded with a describable handball.
Well, Dipper asked Johnny Worsfold the right question about Whitnell. We didn't tell him much, did he? But again, he gets a kick at half-back.
He just needs hands on the ball, doesn't he? Needs a bit of a feel for it.
Well, we saw the Bombers do this against the Kangaroos 2 weeks ago, didn't we? Just refusing to cough the footy up.
See, Whitnell's standing behind the Carlton player with the ball. They need Whitnell in that forward 50.
Beaumont, Hurd did well not to give a free kick away, and then Carousella. Sweet kick actually to Lucas. Now Lloyd leads. Lucas looks up. He's got no one really to go, and now pushes to Lloyd. Well done, Manton, but it was set up for him really, and did well again. The handball, Mackay sweeps it. A bit hard actually, I felt, for Camporelli. Masidi, clever enough. Ramanauskas over the top. Lucas, 70 metres out, probing kick to centre half forward. The belt away. Where are the Crummers? Lloyd tried to. Manton held him up. Hickmont was good. Half volley was clever by Hume, down low, and then goes towards the line. Whitnell very deep off his shins. Boundary throw in.
I reckon, Dipper, if you could just keep an eye on Lance Whitnell for the next 5 minutes and just tell us how you think his fitness is.
No worries, champ.
So there is Whitnell. Wellman carries it forward. Ratton stood his ground. Hurd got an ordinary bounce and then puts a tackle on Camporelli, ball up. It's containment, containment, containment by the Blues, isn't it, at the moment?
Yes, I think their idea is to make it a contest all over the ground, one-on-one, looking for a low-scoring game. They just can't let the Bombers break free and kick those 5 goals in 10 minutes, which they're capable of.
And Damien Hardwick gets his first run for the Bombers for the year.
And pushing forward too, Dermot, as we speak.
Trent Houghton says to his teammate, I'd better swap off him. He's a bit nimble for me.
Mansfield got it back to Hume, wide, Ramanauskas, and also Rice, and again a boundary throw in. Terrific crowd build up here, must be 65 to 70.
And Big Porter, who's been playing in the defensive 50, running out to take this ruck contest. He's got to help Whitnell, otherwise Whitnell will die.
Lucas, Porter, still Porter, backhanded almost, Freeborn just pushes to Ratton, and then Ratton squeezes to centre wing. Lappin, hard bump by Jason Johnson. Free kick, I think, against Carlton and going to Mark Johnson.
Well, you just don't want to hit those Johnsons, do you?
They're like anvils. They're designed for hitting.
Hardwick out wide. Barnard, who kicked the opening goal for the Bombers when they needed it early. They hadn't had a goal in 16 minutes. Short to Fletcher. Kicked 2 goals last week when pushing forward against the Power. Boots to about 45 metres. Good-looking kick. Well done, Freeborn front spot. A little give by Rice was clever. And Camporelli takes long on. Then comes away. Well played. Favola had to mark it. Second effort was okay. Handball very good. Very good. And then the little give again.
He's going to have to run with it.
Lappin loads up. Goes for goal. Hurler-Handle search for it. And got it. He's got some skill, hasn't he?
He's got pace, this kid, too. He actually went away from Damien Hardwick when they were both running back. It just turned into a straight-out foot race, and he put distance between himself and Hardwick there.
And he kept his eyes on the ball, which was just so important. Just so important. Long kick by Lappin to the vacant goal square. And you can see his eyes just never leave the footy, and a lot of courage and a lot of skill to take that.
He got that much of a break, then he was able to slow up at the end of it.
Well, Pagan's paddock, eh? It was a bit like it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, if he can kick a second here, it'll give the Blues a huge lift. They've played well enough to enjoy a little lead, you'd think. From the pocket, tight angle, looks okay, he's got it.
And that's only Carlton's second mark inside their forward 50.
Interesting stuff. Well, they're doing well here. I mean, at the moment, you'd give a big tick alongside Wayne Britton and the way they've set this match up.
Oh, Wade's been terrific. Look, he's a smart coach, and I reckon he would have thrown down the challenge to his young chargers, say, look, 3 experienced boys are out. Let's show people that we are not just a 3-man team.
Blues by a goal in an intriguing low-scoring match.
Well, they're going with their direct opponent everywhere, the Blues, aren't they? Because we now see McCurry in the middle and McKay's followed him in.
Porter, Ratton, back to McKay, wobbles to half forward, Lappin and Mark Johnson. Well played, Mark Johnson, but again the Blues are quick to put a tackle on. Damien Hardwick, great to see him back, the All-Australian, inside to Mark Johnson, takes a chance, short to Wellman, got him.
Big Alessio's on, and he's down at full forward. He's taking Houghton.
Probing kick to Masidi, took the mark. It's a good effort. Mansfield didn't get a fist in there.
You're pointing at the umpire there, Walls. He got the whistle to the mouth.
The umpire had the whistle to the mouth and he didn't blow it.
Okay, not paid.
Not paid.
So must have hit the ground. It looked a clear mark to Masiti.
Wasn't the ideal kick though.
And again, Whitnell in a defensive position in the defensive 50.
I think the Bombers are surprised at how many contests the Blues are able to make in those situations, aren't they? They're getting to contests very quickly. Well played, Camporelli to Freeborn. It was cute, the idea. It may not come off. Hardwick, very strong. He talked about that strength in an interview this morning, didn't he? Wellman's kick out wide. McKay was committed. Just reckon Alessio may have an incentive to play a good game today or tonight. I'm sure he reads the age as he floats one. Fletcher, not a good one. To centre half forward, comes away from Beaumont. Rice paddles. Camporelli's having a really good match, but he looked up, there were nowhere to go, and Fletcher just peels it off and marks at centre wing.
Oh, that's a great kick.
Masidi the target. Oh, cleverly done. He got rid of McKay. That's not easy to do.
And Doom, you called the kick. It was a great kick.
He just waited it. He knew that Joe Masidi on the backside of Andy McKay, he just recognised he's in the box seat here. If I just need to weight it to his advantage, and that's perfect.
Fletcher just covers so much ground with the kick, doesn't he? I mean, he just can get the ball to travel low and deep.
Well, the foot winds up over about 3 metres.
Masidi for a second. He's got it. Wouldn't he become almost complete if he was a 30 to 40 goal man a year? Now he's pushed forward for 2 early here. It hasn't been his trademark goal scoring.
9 possessions, 2 grabs. Some length in that kick.
Penetrates, doesn't he?
Just for the kids who are at home too, you notice what happened there. You might say, is that in the back? For young guys who are learning the game, he's actually, if you take up the slack, put your hands there, take up the slack, you're all right. Wrap them in the back, you're gone.
Mark McCurry in at the centre, bounces. Joe Masidi still playing outside the centre square, which is most unusual.
Back all on for his first run for the Blues. One of the emergencies to get a go with Bradley, Silvani and Koutafidis pulling out before the game. Portis waits, tries to build away. Barnes was really clever there, put both hands up. Backwell immediately gets a kick. Here's McCurry, who Wolsey was talking about. Wasn't looking there, the Carousella. And then Whitnell, Camporelli. Well done. He knew what was coming. Rice, clever, well played. Tell Backwell, spent it before he got it. He's got time to steady up now and compose, and then go to centre half forward to Lappin. Wellman back, Mark Johnson. Lappin had a fair bit of it early. Mark Johnson's having a terrific second term. McCurry, Carousella. McKay almost had him. McCurry. They're chasing the Blues. They're chasing jumpers and numbers. Barnard wide to Barnes. How often he gets on his own. The kick to Lucas was a good one. Massey made a contest. The Blues hold it up. Ball up.
Just good coaching by Essendon, because Masiti going into the forward line takes Ratton with him, and Ratton is Carlton's best in and under player, so it just takes Ratton away from the action.
Dipper?
Yes, I'm just watching Matty Lloyd and Manson certainly playing from behind and giving Matty Lloyd absolutely no room, and Whitnell trying to fill up the spaces but be very flat-footed as he puts his hand up all night tonight. He's not moving at all, Robert.
Thanks, Dipper. Half-back, between half-back and centre wing. Rice squeezes it. Wellman, it was a tough footy. Houlihan with it. Here's Whitnell.
There's a blue behind.
There's a blue going on about 40 metres behind play here. In fact, I think it's Camporelli and McVeigh, and the ball's out on the full, so it'll be a Carlton kick in.
I noticed a lot last week. I watched Carlton play Hawthorn, and Scotty Camporelli, because he's been antagonised a lot in the past, he's obviously decided himself over the last year or even this year he's going to be the antagoniser, and he just draws himself into it even more now.
Fletcher to Fletcher, eh? Simon to Dustin.
Yeah, and Fletcher's been moved out and he's on Lance Whitnell.
And again, that long kick to half forward. Ramanauskas can mark a footy, uncontested, quickly onto the left. Will he take his man on? He knew it was Porter. He backs himself, doesn't kick it all that well. Lloyd's going to get it. He is so quick off the mark. He is so brilliant to react.
Well, he just read the flight of the ball there. He read the ball was dead. It wasn't spinning. It was a floater coming in, and Manton went back with him. Watch this. No contact. He goes back here, and Glenn's turned his eyes on it. There's no touch. He doesn't know where he is. He's looking for the man. Once the ball is in the air, wherever your opponent is, watch the ball, feel for your opponent, but feel for him while you're watching the ball. He actually looked for the opponent and tried to feel at the same time. Matty Lloyd watches the ball. He just runs to where it dropped to. Simple stuff.
And Ramanauskas well protected by Lucas in that marking contest at half forward.
Wasn't he? Yeah.
Terrific.
So Lloyd to kick his second and put the Bombers a goal in front.
Having said that, it's pretty easy to get a little bit of the panics up when the team comes in, brings the ball in pretty quick, and you do try and feel back for them. Scotty Lucas coming off. Yeah, there's the protection you talked about, Wolsey.
And this kid backs himself, doesn't he? Has a run, has a bounce, gets inside the 50. A little bit off balance when he kicked there. That's why the ball floated.
But again, it was a Fletcher kick coming in. They've got to get the ball somewhere away from Fletcher when they're kicking long, don't they?
Yeah. Yep.
So Lucas on the interchange. Solomon with him, who Kevin and Chitty had a long talk to at quarter time. There's Gary Moorcroft.
6 forward centre clearances for Carlton, but you notice now Whitnell's gone back into the forward line to take Fletcher deep in there, and they're using Lappin as their loose man in defence now, Carlton.
Mercury to Moorcroft.
So clearly Fletcher was hurting Carlton. Big Dustin Fletcher, so they want him out of the action zone and minding Whitnell close to their goals.
Kemper already got it, but it's not a good result. Just feel like the Bombers are ready to do something, don't you?
Yeah, good smother by Michael Long, and he's got it now.
50 metres out.
James one out.
Hurd. Ooh. Beaumont are behind.
He'd be disappointed with that, James Hurd, because he was in the box seat as that ball came in. He just made that bit of contact. He would have thought that he would have marked this, just contact there, leaned back, a little bit of a slip, I think, and he'd be disappointed.
I reckon if he had that time over again, he'd jump over the top of him.
Yeah.
Camporelli's been effective here. Let's see if he does it again. He does. That's 3 times he's been able to find a man at 50.
Oh, he's a wonderful kick. Craig Bradley's had that responsibility for years. With Bradley out of the team, it goes to Campo.
So Massey. Then a bit up and under. The kick to Whitnell. Can he get involved? Belted away by the Bombers, and they have all the numbers back there. Alessio at half back.
Good player.
Kick to centre wing. Massey at the back, and a boundary throw in. So just 7 points in it.
Nelson now on for the Blues, and Massey off. Probably go pick up Gary Moorcroft as he goes straight to him here.
Just a reminder, for live scores, end of quarter stats for every match, log on to our website, i7sport.com.au. Mercury. Moorcroft's hands were good. They're going to try and rip it off in the Blues. They gang tackle him hard. Houlihan, that's clever. Really clever. Comes away, runs a long way, and kicks it beautifully. Wonderful football to Whitnell. Can he take them on? Not quite. Then in desperation, handballs wide.
Good hit.
Ratton, still Ratton. He hasn't quite got the leg speed, but he hassles well. Into the pocket, still in the pocket. Nelson taken down.
He's been taken high, Bruce.
Gee, some desperate football there by players from both sides. They were absolutely flat chat at the footy, and some desperate body work and lunging and tackling. And Brett Ratton, just terrific. Benny Nelson hasn't been on long. Played mainly as a half-back flanker, so I think if he kicks this, it'll be a bonus.
He's just come off the bench, Robert, picked up Moorcroft. He's only been on about, I don't know, 40 seconds.
Played in the grand final a couple of years ago. He hasn't brought it back enough, I don't think. He's just missed. About Houlihan's play.
Clever.
And the kick to Whitman was spot on in the end.
I reckon if Lance had got the passage open then and kicked a goal, his confidence would have lifted and he probably would have come in for some real good form from that. It's funny how one little identified caption can just kick you onto the next level.
Mark Mercury, we see him across half-back there. 8 handballs, so he's working hard to bring his teammates into it.
Carousella gets it from Mark Johnson. It may go back to him. Centre half back. He's running hard tonight, Johnson, isn't he? He goes wide to Barnard.
5 marks out on the wing, Barnard.
Pushing out wider to Hardwick.
Inside to James Hird.
Good call.
And he won't want to waste this. Carlton have got 2 players in front of Lloyd.
Sits it up for Lloyd. Can he take a screamer? Front spot Whitnell. So he's covering some ground as Lance Camperoni clever to Nelson. Has to kick it long. Bombers have got the numbers. Fletcher doesn't get it. Down low. Back ball. There's nowhere to go. Needs the bounce here, Lappin. Back turn. They've got it on here. Favola running hard. Can the ball go all the way? It's bouncing. It's going to be a goal. A beauty. Stirring stuff. I'm enjoying this game.
From inside the square. You just looked at it and you thought, oh, don't kick it, son. It'll only come back over your head with some tacks on it.
Yeah, well, he's gone the big torpedo. He had no one to go to, and that's the second goal the Blues have got, where it's gone over the head of everyone. We saw the mark taken down there by Houlihan before, but what about this? Isn't that great composure? Lappin's got the footy, and in the end he knows a drop punt probably won't make the distance, so he unloads a big torp.
Do you see Dustin Fletcher there when he was running with the fly of the ball? He looked up at the scoreboard, the screen scoreboard, rather than look back over his shoulder. He looked up at the scoreboard. If we get another shot of that sometime later in the evening or in a few minutes' time, he watched the scoreboard rather than look over his shoulder.
It's like athletes use it at the Olympic Games when they see the runners behind them.
Yep.
So the kick to half forward. So the Blues are playing with a great deal of fight here and determination and spirit. And Essendon know they've got a match. And why wouldn't they when they're playing against this great rival?
Bruce Michael Long on the bench now for the Bombers, and also Dean Rice.
Let's have a look. Fletcher now. Look at him. See, there he goes, up at the scoreboard. He thought, well, I can run quicker with my eyes focused straight ahead, and he just takes a peek upwards. Isn't that clever?
Hardwick. Henneman just took his running and then got it whipped off him. Lappin probably should have left it for back ball. The Blues try to get it out for Vola's hands. McKay can put them in front. Long bomb. It'll be a behind. They do lead, though.
And again, no one back there at full forward. The worry that the Blues have is how long can Porter continue to ruck.
Yeah.
He's rucked unchanged for this first half. Ideally, they'd love to spell him now, but I can't see who can go in the ruck other than Houghton.
Mark Johnson wants Barnes. Whitnell front spot. Hickmott went through his legs. Back, too far in the end for Fletcher. And then the little one, toe poke by Joe Masiti, boundary throw in.
Solomon on the forward line for the Bombers, and young Vance is picking him up.
You notice too when Scotty Lucas came off, Carlton a couple of minutes later got young Massey off. So Massey's been assigned Lucas all night long. Lucas is getting ready to come back on. I wouldn't mind betting that they're going a man apiece all night, as Dipper said, and Massey will come on shortly after.
Lappin's contest was good, then gets it back, loads up with a little one, actually chips to full forward. Henneman and Favola. Hardwick gets a second crack. Pressure on the Bombers for a moment, isn't it? That's a good kick, Hardwick to Barnard.
Favola could have done more. He really easily gave up front position in the goal square then.
Barnes off, Lucas on.
And Dermot, you don't reckon they're going to get too many better chances than that one a moment ago?
One-on-one, yeah. He should have just slipped in front there.
Mark Johnson again running hard for Hird. Good contest again. Well done, Beaumont to Houghton. To Fletcher. To Vance. Murray Vance wide to Camperelli.
It's got Mansfield.
Goes short. Wants back. Well, he's been a bit busy, hasn't he? He's been 3 or 4 contests at least. Shocking kick. Real waste here. That's poor footy. It was on his left foot. He's got to be disappointed. Henneman gets it to Moorcroft. They can hurt you, the Bombers. Masidi out wide. Lloyd a long way from home.
Oh, it's a good mark.
Some of our crew going a bit dirty on that mark.
They're the Carlton boys.
Solomon just back off the interchange. Centering ball for Alessio.
Good play, Wolsey.
Well, I just wonder if he could make the distance from there. Look at Essendon have made a line of players, so they've got space here. I thought he'd give it off, and that's good football. Still a long way out for Matty Lloyd.
Moorcroft's well within distance.
And is he screaming?
Belts it to within about 10. Oh, Hurd nearly comes down with it. Wasn't the first take. Ramanauskas out the back. McVeigh. Blumfield search for them cleverly back. Well, Fletcher can kick this. This is well within his range.
And Jason Johnson comes on, and he was tagged earlier. His direct opponent was Darren Hume. When he came off, Hume came off, and Johnson's just run on.
And Hume about to come back on,
He's just said, each of you, this is your opponent for the night, Wayne Britton. He comes off, you come off. He goes back on, you follow him back on.
No confusion about accountability with that, is there?
None whatsoever.
Fletcher's kick to the goal. Square belted through for a behind.
But I reckon Scotty Lucas is on now and is basically rucking Wolsey in the following, not the ruck. He's actually following the ball around against Porter, and they're just trying to drive him into the ground, run him into the ground.
Essendon bench at the moment, Mercury, Long and Barnes.
Hasn't missed Camporelli, has he? Every kick in's hit a target.
They've had 5 rush behinds, the Bombers, in this first half out of their 6. Camporelli.
And watch him run. He'll just keep going, Camporelli.
Gee, they've done well here, the Blues. They've done really well. Nelson's kick, shocking. Just
Gee, that hurts.
Yep. So we've had Backwell and Nelson missing targets in the last 2 minutes.
That's as bad as giving away a free, that bad kick.
Moorcroft.
Big flight.
Lloyd, terrific mark. He's marking them from everywhere tonight, isn't he?
And again, courageous mark. He was coming with the flight of the ball towards the end there. He didn't know what was coming. Eyes on the foot. He got it on the second bite. And that turnover in the middle of the ground just kills Carlton. He certainly set himself for tonight, I reckon.
It's hard enough to win a game when you're doing everything right because of your opponent's ability, but when you're turning it over and giving them the ball.
That's the 9th mark the Bombers have taken inside their forward 50. Carlton's only taken 2.
Yep.
Right behind him here. 50 metres out. Good kick, isn't it? Have a look at that. He's got 3, Lloyd.
Oh, Andy McKay coming over the bench because Mercurie's off. Well, that'd be one bloke in your team where you say, can we break this rule just to keep him out there, Wolsey?
Yeah, and Freeborn coming off too. So a lot of action down there, Dip.
Tell you what, if Sheeds might think, I want to get a Carlton player off, I'll take one of mine off because I'll get him off for sure.
Take Smoke and Joe off for a while and you'll get Ratton off.
Amazing, Dermot. At the moment, the Bombers have got a 9-man forward line.
Hurd's taken the ball out of the middle 3 times in this first half. He's not there for the moment. Mercedes in there with Jason Johnson and Moorcroft. Jason Johnson on the left. So the Bombers again in front.
Fletcher's followed Whitnell down into his forward line.
And I think that's good. Instead of letting Whitnell be loose man in defence, make it a contest. So they've brought Fletcher down into the forward line. And Carlton wouldn't like that because Fletcher's capable of kicking goals, as we know.
Yeah.
Robert, you mentioned the benches. Both have made 8 changes off the bench into this first half.
Lucas. Well done, Camporelli. Across the boot.
He's been good, hasn't he?
Camporelli's gone up a level over the last year or 2. He was always a good player. I think he's a champion player now.
13 possessions to him thus far.
Just saw Carousel a moment ago. Lucas just got rid of Porter. Hume, well done. Ran his measure. Kicks wide to Lappin. Just too slow getting the ball to him, though.
Yep.
Gave Mark Johnson every chance. It's been an interesting duel, Lappin and Mark Johnson. They've both had moments, haven't they?
8 marks, Barnard.
Fletcher, this could hurt now. Will he take Backwell on? Just over the top he decides to go. To Hardwick, to Lucas. Well done, Houghton, got him. Gee, Lucas had it wild. Eventually got a handball away. Good harassing by Backwell. Back turn by Houlihan, clever enough. Jason Johnson. Blues, I think, did well to hold it all up in the end. And I reckon right now they'd like to blow the siren. They'd be pretty happy to be a goal behind at half-time.
That's a good tackle by Hottie.
It's a good tackle, isn't it?
And that's a liber tackle. Once you get the arms around, you bring your feet up off the ground. Not that type of tackle, Wolsey does start laughing at me, but he is a good tackler. He brings both feet up off the ground and just cling on.
Well, 5-6-6-6.
Rescued.